Okay, you guys, we're now going to wrap up problem 2-4A, and you're probably all thinking it's about time. I know it is one of our, it's one of several fairly lengthy problems that we'll cover, but it takes us through the first three steps during the accounting cycle. On the third we've completed instructions 1, 2, and 3. The fourth instruction reads, prepare an unadjusted trial balance of the ledger as of April 30th, 2016. Well, you have an example to go by on bottom of page 92. That's the unadjusted trial balance as of March 31st, 2016. They now want one prepared as of April 30th, 2016. Well, I've got a space for that on your template. Here we go. And I already put in the heading. Elite Realty, you'd want to put the name of the business on the top row, just like on bottom of page 92. Then unadjusted trial balance. Notice the difference though, their date was March 31st, 2016, and the balances as of that day. Our balances we're going to pick up are as of April 30th, 2016. So, we'll just start, we'll list them in the same order that you see on bottom of page 92. So we'll put in the account number and the account title. We'll start with cash. Now notice the balance at the end of March was $26,300. That's not what we want to pick up though. Let's go up to our cash account in the ledger. The ending cash balance was a debit of $19,050. So that's what we want to enter. Debit balance $19,050. Okay, our next account is accounts receivable. We'll pick up its ending ledger balance. $66,200 debit balance. Now, you probably noticed this already, but the debit balances will enter in the left-hand column. The credit balances will enter in the right-hand column. Our next account is prepaid insurance. The debit balance for $9,000. Okay, after prepaid insurance, we'll pick up office supplies, which is account number 14. Let's find its balance at the end of April. $3,775 debit. Next we have land. Account number 16. I just happen to remember it's a debit balance of $200,000. Well, let's check that one. Come up till we find land. Here we go. Debit balance for $200,000. Accounts payable is a credit balance for $95.25. We come over to the credit column to enter its balance. And next we have unearned rent. It's account number 22. It's going to be a credit balance as well. Remember, we expect accounts to have a balance on the same side they increase on. All of our assets increase on the debit side. They all have a debit balance. We're to unearned rent now. Has a credit balance for $10,000. Next is notes payable. Account number 23. Credit balance for $170,000. Then we have common stock, account number 31. It also has a credit balance for $10,000. It's not at all related to that unearned rent, those two being the same amount. That's just purely coincidental. Next we have retained earnings, account number 32. Credit balance for $36,000. Remember, liabilities and stockholders' equity accounts all increase on the credit side, so they all have a credit balance. Next, we have our contra stockholders' equity account, dividends. The dividends account has a debit balance for $6,000. Next is fees earned, account number 41. Remember, it's our revenue account. Fees earned has a credit balance for $297,000. Then salary and commission expense, account number 51. Salary and commission expense. Ending debit balance for $157,600. Next, we have rent expense, account number 52. Has an ending debit balance for $36,500. Then advertising expense. You guys, I'm preparing this exactly like the one you see on bottom of page 92, except of course the date changed, and I'm picking up the balances from the ledger accounts rather than page 92, of course. After rent expense, I've got advertising expense, account number 53. Its balance $22,100. And 54 is automobile expense. The debit balance for $7,000. And then account number 59 is miscellaneous expense. its ending account balance is a debit for $5,300. So now we have completed the unadjusted trial balance as of April 30th, 2016. We listed all the accounts from the ledger along with their account number and their balance as of April 30th, 2016. And if you'll notice, when we finished here, the debit column total and the credit column total are equal, $532,525. Now, if they're equal, it doesn't mean you haven't made any mistakes, but if they're not equal, it does mean something's incorrect. Okay, we could possibly make mistakes in the problem. For instance, if you omitted one journal entry or made one journal entry twice, these two totals would still equal, although the records would be incorrect. But that's a pretty good sign. These two equal. There's no glaring errors anyway. If the two are not equal, then you have to go back through and find out where you made a mistake. Okay, that takes us through instructions 1 through 4. And really it takes us through the first 3 steps of the accounting cycle, you guys. We're going to refer to these all semester. Transactions are analyzed and recorded in the journal. We did that with instruction 2. Transactions are posted to the ledger. That was actually instruction 3 for us. And then we prepared an unadjusted trial balance. That was instruction 4. Now if we come back to our problem, let's look. We also have a question 5. Assume that the April 30th transaction for salaries and commissions should have been $19,100. Why did the unadjusted trial balance in question 4 balance? Okay, you guys, let's see. They're talking about the transaction from April 30th. Paid salaries and commissions expense for the month $11,900. They're saying, what if that should have been $19,100? And that's an easy error to make. It's called a transposition. It's getting the digits in the middle of the number out of place. You guys, if it were supposed to be $19,100, but we put it in as $11,900, then we made the same error on both sides, on both the debit side and the credit side. Okay? Let's go back up to the journal. On that journal entry they're talking about, they're just saying if we should have made this for $19,100 instead of $11,900, well, we entered $11,900 on the debit side, $11,900 on the credit side, so your two totals would still be equal. We just did it for the wrong amount. Now we're going to quit there. We're not going to make a correcting entry and take care of that part. I guess that's the only part we're going to skip. We already answered C. That type of error is called a transposition. You guys, after working this one with me and practicing it a few times on your own, I think you should be ready for your next homework problem. It's problem 2-4B. And you'll have an Excel template similar to this one to work it out on. Good luck, and please be in touch if you have any questions. Thanks.